Hello friends, Intuitive Rene here. Welcome to a bundle reading pick a message video for you today. I am again, as I say quite often, doing things a little bit differently. There's not much in the way of consistency on this channel. There's consistency with when videos are released, but the kind of videos change from time to time just to keep things interesting, just to keep you enthusiastic and motivated so that things don't become a little bit dull and boring. I like to shake things up from time to time. Friends, what I'm bringing for you today is I have created a new casting sheet. And it's one that came to me from a couple of sources, a couple of places. So I've taken a bit from here and a bit from there and a bit from there, and quite a lot from Spirit. And I've created this casting board. I have not really used it much. I've tested it out once or twice very, very briefly, but I am going to use it for each one of you today, and I hope you're going to enjoy it. I'm going to use my miniature resin tarot tiles to do this, use with this casting board. So if you haven't seen my tarot tiles before, they are absolutely tiny, tiny, tiny. They are cast in resin, which means I can throw them around, which means that I can be quite rough with them, and they handle it quite well. So the casting sheet that I have created has got 13 points on it, 13 key phrases, topics, or conversations that we're going to work through, and we're going to draw a tarot tile for each one of them. So the message, the reading, the guidance that's going to come through is going to be quite detailed, and I'm hoping it's going to be quite fabulous. I'm going to record 3 of these readings, as I do most of the time, 3 of these readings, and I'm going to give you 3 flowers to help you choose the reading that is relevant and appropriate to you. And I should have thought about this before I started recording, but I just suddenly had the thought, how can I show you the 3 flowers? Because I don't have the camera facing the table at this stage. All right, so flower number 1 is going to be this really pretty white and red flower. That's going to be flower number 1. Flower number 2 is going to be the red smiley face. That's going to be flower number 2. And flower number 3 is going to be the green one. So we have 3 flowers for you to choose from. So I will record 3 readings. And you can, if you guide it to more than one, of course, by all means, do watch. I can assure you that the readings that are going to come through from this are going to be very, very different. So do whatever you need to do to help you choose a flower. As I said, we have got, let's see if I can do it this way, flower 1, flower 2, and flower 3. So 1, 2, and 3. I mustn't get the orders wrong now that I've said that to you. Right, I'm going to do it like that. And yes, I'm going to flip the camera around, and we're going to get started with reading number 1. Remember, I bring you these videos each week. Every week I bring you a pick a something, a tarot scope, some kind of inspirational reading, free of charge, free gratis, and for nothing. All I ask in exchange is if you do enjoy my content and you haven't already done so, smash that subscribe button, and remember to hit like and comment below. Remember, the more you interact with the video, the more YouTube thinks the video is decent, and it will help my channel to grow. I have seen some amazing growth recently, so thank you so much for all my new subscribers. It's lovely to have you, and those of you who have recently joined the memberships, it's nice to have you part of the family. Let's flip the camera around and let's get started with your readings. Hello and welcome to those of you who chose the little white and red flower as the message for you today. Welcome. Here I have my casting board that I have created, and as I said, we are doing things a little bit differently. I have my tarot tiles, all 78 of them cast in resin in my singing bowl that I use to do them. I'm going to shuffle, and I'm going to place a tarot tile on each of these segments, and we're going to read the tarot in relation to the situation that we have on the casting board, and let's see what message comes through for you. Let's see what it is that Spirit needs you to know. So for those of you who are sound sensitive, it can be a little bit noisy. Sometimes my mic gets clever, and sometimes my mic tries to mute the sound because it thinks it's an annoying sound of some kind. But if you are hearing sensitive, and just in case my mic doesn't mute today, please do just be mindful that it can be a bit noisy when I shuffle. And for those of you who do enjoy the ASMR shuffling of the tarot tiles, I hope you enjoy. I'm going to shuffle. I'm going to lay out all the tarot that we need, and then we will start with your reading. So let's get going. Let's shuffle. Let's get a good shuffle in and see what comes through. Very exciting. I'm going to try not look at the tarot when I'm placing them down, but I obviously just need to see where I'm putting them. But we're just going to place all the way around. Try and make sure that I am being as open as I can be. That it doesn't look like I'm choosing tarot. Excuse me, choosing tarot specifically. And our last one over there. Right. So we have our tarot selected. We're going to start with this one over here, and it is the general state of your mind. And the tarot that we have for the general state of your mind is, when it decides to focus, is the Queen of Pentacles. Now, as a relation to the general state of your mind, this is basically saying that you're actually feeling quite confident. You're feeling very grounded. You're feeling very secure and very open with regards to who you are, what you're dealing with in life at the moment, which is really good for the state of your mind. There's no insecurities. There's no doubts. You're feeling capable. You're feeling confident. You're feeling like you actually know who you are, what you are, and what you're all about. We're looking at inheritance and deaths. Inheritance and deaths. And here, whoopsie, where's the camera? I've lost the camera. I lost the camera. No. There we go. So what we have over here is the Six of Cups. So the Six of Cups talks about somebody from the past coming back into your space. It talks about reminiscing and thinking back. So with regards to inheritance and deaths, I'm going to interpret it that there is somebody from spirit from a long time ago who was visiting you. You have found yourself recently thinking about them. You have found yourself recently reminiscing and thinking about those family members who have passed on. So just know that this is a sign from them that they are near you, that they are visiting you, that they are sending you lots of positive love and, positive good wishes in all. I want to just make sure that I know which ones I've done. So I'm going to do it like this when I've done with them. So this is just a sign from spirit to say that they are around you, that they are with you, that they love you unconditionally, and that they have been near you when you have been thinking about them very, very recently. The next one we have is marriage and relationships. And the tarot tile we have for marriage and relationships is the Ace of Cups. So the Ace of Cups talks about new relationships. So for those of you who are currently in a relationship, married or in a relationship, there is a newness to the marriage, to newness to the relationship. And for those of you who are single, this is definitely a positive card telling you that there is a possibility of relationship coming through for you very, very soon. So marriage and relationships, there is a newness. Be open to this newness, because sometimes we're so used to everything being a particular way or being the same way that when something new comes around, we think, I don't know if I want this. I don't know if I like this. I don't know if this is what I'm looking for. So with the Ace of Cups coming through under marriage and relationships, be open to any new connection that comes through for you. If you're single and somebody asks you on a date, you absolutely have to say yes, even if they are the furthest thing from what you would expect in a potential partner. And for those of you who are in a relationship, who are in a good, happy relationship, just be open to changing the way that we engage and interact with each other going forward, because there's definitely something positive that's going to come out of that situation for you. Next one we have here is our health outlook. And for your health outlook, we have got the Page of Pentacles. Now, the Page of Pentacles for health is actually quite interesting, because the Page of Pentacles, just making sure I'm putting it in the right space, is basically, the Page of Pentacles is basically saying to you that, you're feeling a little bit apprehensive, you're feeling a little bit uncertain, you're feeling a little bit insecure around the things that you actually need to do. So health outlook is saying that you're okay, things could be better, but there's something that's niggling you. There's something that's not quite sitting right with you, not quite feeling right with you. And the advice that I want to give you around your health outlook in the Page of Pentacles is don't ignore it, okay? If something is worrying you, make an appointment, go and see a doctor, have it checked out, investigate it, if anything, just to put your mind at ease. Just to stop the worry, just to stop the stress, just to stop the panic, because there's no reason for it, but rather go and get a professional consult and so that you know that everything is okay. But there's definitely something niggling you with regards to your health. Next, we have business enterprises. And for business enterprises, we have got the Two of Wands. Now, the Two of Wands for business enterprises is actually quite good because it basically says, you know what you want to do, you know what you need to do. You're sort of pondering, do I stay or do I go? Do I do this or do I do that? So you've got choices and options in front of you. The interesting thing is that anything is possible, okay? There are no limits, there are no restrictions. There is nothing that you can't do. You can actually do it all. So under business enterprises, if you have been thinking about changing a business, growing a business, starting a business, this is absolutely your yes, okay? So if you've been looking for a sign or been waiting for an guidance from Spirit, take this as the sign, the guidance that the timing is right. You know what you want to do, you know how you want to do it, so just get on and do it. Okay, I love that. Then here, under the home life atmosphere, what we have here is the devil card. Okay, so the devil card is always a very interesting card because its meaning changes all the time, depending on the context of the question, the situation, and the circumstance. The devil card with home life atmosphere is basically saying that there are things happening around you. There are things taking place in the home that you are maybe not all that comfortable with, that you are maybe not all that happy with. It's not awful. It's not bad. It's not terrible. It's not anything that you imagine it to be. Your imagination, your fear, your insecurities, and your doubts are making the situation so much worse than it actually is. The devil card here in the home life atmosphere is basically saying at home, paranoia is setting in, anxiety is setting in, stress is setting in, worry and doubt and insecurities and all of those things are setting in. But it's those within us that are making the situation worse. So it's almost like saying to you, you've imagined, perceived, seen, experienced one thing, and it was like that, and now we've blown it completely out of proportion and it's become a huge big thing. So I am going to say to you, with regards to your home life, just be mindful of the way that you are responding and the way that you are reacting and the words that are coming out of your mouth. Make sure that whatever it is that you're dealing with within the home life, whatever the situation is, make sure that we're not blowing it out of proportion. Just constantly keep yourself in check, constantly reel yourself in and say, hold a second, what am I doing? How am I responding? Is that appropriate? Is that relevant? Or am I doing too much? And just pull back ever so slightly if that is the case. All right. Then we have chances for travel. And unfortunately, for all of you who chose this particular reading, there is no chance for travel, not today. I do think, though, that there was hope for travel, that you were working towards something, but it's like everything's just been cut off in front of your face. You get so close, you get so far in the process, and then something happens and the plans are foiled and the plans are messed. So chances for travel, I really don't think now is a good time for travel to take place for you, but I do think, though, next year. Okay, the way that I interpret that, looking at the context of the question and the card that's come up, if you are wanting to travel, I don't think 2022 is going to happen for you, but I do think early next year would be a good time for that to take place for you. All right. And then the state of your finances. So we looked at the general state of your mind, and now we're looking at the state of your finances. And the card that you've got here is the Star. Now, the Star is a wonderful card for a state of finances because it's telling you that things aren't fabulous. Things are not great. Things are not fantastic, but things are improving. Okay, there is definite improvement. There is definitely an upward trend in regards to your finances. So things are getting better, things are improving, and things are going to be much better soon. So whatever you're doing at the moment with regards to your finances, stick with it. Okay, keep with it. Keep doing the same things because there's definitely good improvement coming through for you. And then the events of your next year. And in the events of your next year, this is a beautiful confirmation. We've got the Nine of Pentacles. And it's a good confirmation for what we were saying about your finances, because the Nine of Pentacles is what I refer to as the opulence card, okay? Nine of Pentacles is the card of opulence. It's the card of extravagance. It's the card of excess. But it's about having everything that your heart desires and so much more. So the events of your next year means that everything's going to be really good, really positive. You're going to have a lot of excess, a lot of extra, and a lot of fabulousness. Maybe that's because of the travels too, because we're not going to travel this year, we're going to travel next year. So the events of your next year are going to be really, really good. So you've definitely got something to look forward to there. All right. And then here we have your enemies, because let's be honest, we all have them, don't we? Your enemies. And the card we have here is the King of Swords. So when it comes to your enemies, this is telling you that your enemies are not physical. This is telling you that your enemies are not tangible, physical people who are literally out to get you. This is all in the mind, okay? Your enemies are so much bigger and so much more powerful and so much more scary and so much more intimidating in your mind than what they are in real life. So whoever it is that concerns you, whoever it is that you feel threatened by or anxious about or whatever, whoever you feel has got it out for you, I honestly think that if we had to talk to them one-on-one, we would find that they're actually not so scary, not so bad, not so intimidating. But it's the way that you have imagined and perceived them that seems to be worse than what the reality is. So your enemies seem to be bigger and scarier and more frightening and more threatening than they really are in real life, okay? Isn't it quite interesting? I mean, I know I've got 2 cards left, but a lot of what we've already covered here today in your reading and for you has been about exactly that, about, perceived circumstances or perceived situations versus reality. We always seem to perceive things to be worse than what they are. Even though the state of your mind is feeling like, I'm actually quite calm, I'm actually quite relaxed, I know who I am, I know what I'm about. But we do tend to, when we tend to panic more than. Just like here, even with your health outlook, where we had our Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles saying there's something niggling you, but we're going to just let it niggle and niggle and niggle instead of actually doing something about it and finding out that it's nothing to be worried about. So here with your enemies, I almost want to say, like, take your enemies out for a cup of coffee. It's amazing how having 5 minutes to actually sit and talk to each other, and you suddenly realize, but hold a second, you're not my enemy, you're actually my best friend, because we tend to overreact to certain things and read it the wrong way, especially if we're feeling a little bit defensive, especially if we're feeling a little bit out. Okay, next one, friendships. Isn't it funny how we have enemies and friendships right next to each other? There's a fine line between enemies and friendships. Right, so for friendships here, we've got the Knight of Pentacles. You've got so many pentacles coming through. It's actually quite fabulous. The Knight of Pentacles. So the Knight of Pentacles says, your friendships are very, very confident and they're very secure. There's nothing that happens too quickly. There's nothing that's being rushed into it. It's like a steady growth, a steady flow. We can spend a couple of days, a couple of weeks, a couple of months not seeing each other. And when we do, it's like we've missed no time at all. There's not this kind of urgency to be in each other's pockets all the time. Our friendships, the friendships that you have, are very confident, very secure, and very easy for you. There's no expectation. There's no pressure. It's just so laid back. It's just so chilled. It's just so wonderful. And then our next one that we have is your profession and your occupation, otherwise your work situation. And here we've got the Queen of Swords. So Queen of Swords for a career card, for a business thing, is basically saying that, again, you're very confident in all that you do. You're a strategist. You're somebody who thinks. You're somebody who's always, even though you're working today and focusing on today's work today, but you're also thinking about tomorrow, next week, next month, and so on. You're looking at the plan. You're very good at organizing. You're very good at methodical kind of working through, systematically working through stuff. You're not the kind of person that takes things, by chance. You're the kind of person who likes to have a strategy, likes to have a plan, likes to know what's coming up, likes to know what to expect. You're not the kind of person that's just going to willy-nilly take things as they come. So, friends, those of you who chose the red and white flower, very interesting reading. And I mean, we've covered quite a lot in a very short space of time. Watch it again, watch it again, watch it again to see all this information that is here for you. I do hope that you enjoyed it, and I do hope that it's given you a little bit of guidance, a little bit of clarity, and a little bit of fortune telling for what's coming up for you in the near future. As always, with love and blessings from my heart to yours. And until we connect again, take care. Welcome to those of you who chose the little red smiley face flower as the message reading and guidance for you today. As you can see, I have the casting board here in front of me, and I also have my trusty tarot tiles. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle and I'm going to draw a tarot card for each one of these points, each one of these prompts, and then we're going to read them and see what comes through. I'm going to, when I'm shuffling the tarot and laying them out, I'm going to try and not look at where my hand is and where I'm grabbing from, but I am obviously going to be looking at the board to make sure that I'm placing them in the right place because we don't want to miss anything out. So I am going to give the tarot tiles a good shuffle, and for those of you who are sound sensitive, sometimes my camera puts the sound on and sometimes it mutes the sound. It thinks it's just background noise. So if you don't like the sound, please make sure that you have removed headphones and things like that, or just volumed it down, turned the volume down. And for those who do enjoy the sound, enjoy the ASMR. So we're trying to cover everybody's likes and dislikes. All right, so I'm going to shuffle and lay out the tarot, and let's get into your reading. Giving them a good shuffle, moving them all around. And I'm going to start picking them out. Right, first one. Try not to look at where I'm grabbing from. And one more. Right, we have our tarot. Okay. I know it's not all that clear, and because the tarot tiles are quite small, you don't really get to see them very clearly, but I will bring them closer so that you can see. We're going to start on this end over here, and it is the general state of your mind. And the tarot tile that we have here is the card of the Hermit. So that's basically saying to you that you're feeling very alone, you're feeling very isolated, you're feeling like you've got no support, and that you're having to handle and navigate everything on your own. Now, obviously, that's awful. Nobody should be feeling that way. But what I am going to say to you is that whatever it is that you're going through, whatever it is that you're dealing with at the moment, this is good for you, okay? Spending a bit of alone time, spending a bit of time in quiet contemplation is exactly what you need right now, because life is busy, life is crazy. There's all sorts of other things going on. And sometimes just retreating inward and, finding your own calm center is exactly what you need to quieten the noise that's happening around you, the life that is happening around you. So the general state of your mind is not really one of stress and panic and anxiety, not at all. It's actually one of calmness. It's one of calmness, but it's one of feeling like, you don't have a lot of people saying, hey, can I help you? Can I help you? Can I help you? You're having to sort of navigate everything on your own, but you're actually, sometimes it feels like, it'd be nice if somebody could support me, but actually you don't need any support because you're actually figuring this out and doing really well on your own. So the current state of your mind is feeling alone, feeling isolated, feeling like you've got no support. But actually that's exactly the way you need to be, because you need to get comfortable with your own center, comfortable with your own space. The next card we have is inheritance and debts. Now, I know a lot of people are like, well, how would you put that in there? But there's a reason. Under inheritance and debts, we've got the Knight of Swords for you. So the Knight of Swords is saying to you, everything's moving smoothly. Everything is like straight ahead. Everything is happening the way that it needs to. So under the category of inheritance and debts, there's nothing that you need to be aware of. There's nothing that you need to be mindful of. Everything is charging ahead. Everything is moving ahead. Everyone is moving ahead, okay? So there is progress, there is direction, there is activity, there is action. There is nothing for you to be concerned about. So as far as inheritance and debts, it doesn't look like there are any for you right now, okay? Moving on to our next one. And here we have marriage and relationships. So marriage and relationships, and we've got the Lovers card. So it seems like everything is doing really well for you in that department. The Lovers card is a card of choices and options. So just like your marriage partner, you didn't just stumbled upon a person, all right, this is somebody who's good enough to marry. It's almost like, you've got choices, and you could say, well, I'm going to marry this person, or I'm going to wait for somebody else, or I'm going to marry somebody else. So here under marriages and relationships, the Lovers card coming through is saying that everything's actually pretty awesome for you. I am going to say, for those of you who are single at the moment, for those of you who are not in a marriage or in a relationship, this is a good sign. Okay, for everybody, regardless of your marital relationship status, this is a good sign of good times to come. So those of you who chose the smiley flower, nobody's dying and everybody's in love. Everybody's in love, everybody's happy, everybody's feeling fulfilled, everybody's feeling satisfied in the area of marriage and relationships. So even if you have chosen not to be in a relationship at the moment, even if you have chosen to remain single, this is definitely a positive in that respect, saying that you have nothing missing or lacking in your life at the moment. Everything is pretty okay. Right, let's have a look and see what's happening with your health outlook. So, friends, here we have health. I can't get the words right. Health outlook. And the card that we have chosen for you here is the Five of Pentacles. Now, this is not really the kind of card you want to see when looking at a health outlook, because the Five of Pentacles is the card of lack. It's the card of poverty. It's the card of not having. So the way that I interpret it with regards to your health outlook is saying that there is something lacking in your physical system at the moment, whether it be a vitamin, a mineral, maybe it's liquid, maybe you're a bit dehydrated, but there is definitely something lacking in your life at the moment, in your physical being, and you need to replenish. You need to be putting back in. Instead of feeling, letting it run and see how long it goes and see if it just sorts itself out, this is something that you need to take charge of. So I would suggest multivitamins. I would suggest getting yourself checked out from that point of view, but there's definitely something that is lacking in your system at the moment, and if left for too much longer may cause a bit of problems. So we want to make sure that we get on top of this really quickly. And you know what, there's nothing wrong with taking a multivitamin. So just check vitamins, minerals, things like that, and maybe just top up. If you're not somebody who drinks a lot of water, maybe just increase that, but there is something lacking in your system which could be causing a conflict for you at some point. So check that out. All right, next we have business enterprises, and the card that's come through for you for business enterprises is the Queen of Swords. Now, Queen of Swords for business enterprises is fabulous, but before we talk about that, let's talk about what do I mean when I talk about business enterprises. In today's day and age, most people, a lot of people, are trying to get themselves set up in business. You may have a full-time job, but a lot of people have got a little sideline something. So this is what I reference when I talk about a business enterprise. If you are self-employed, then I am referring to your business as a whole. But if you are somebody who is unemployed or who has a job, and this would be your little side business, your little side hustle, if I could call it that, okay? But if you do have your own business, or if you are thinking about going into business, then this is exactly what we're talking about. So business enterprises and our Queen of Swords. Now, as I said, she's a really good card to have in this particular position because she is confident, she is assertive, she is strong, she takes no nonsense, she knows exactly who she is, what she is, why she is, and how she is, and she's not afraid to speak her mind. She's not afraid to say what to push buttons and to even cause a little bit of chaos just to get what she wants, what she needs. So she is confident, strong, and capable. So this is telling you that if you have a business enterprise, if you are considering going into business or doing something sideline, this is really positive. But this is also telling you to be smart about it, okay? To make sure that you are confident in your actions and your behaviors and your activities, and that you're not winging it, okay? You need to have a strategy and you need to stick to that strategy. And if you do, you will have a lot of positive success. We move on to home life atmosphere. And for home life atmosphere, you've got the Ace of Pentacles. So the Ace of Pentacles talks about new money, okay? So the way that I interpret that with relation to home life atmosphere is that there's a change and improvement / upgrade that's going to be coming through to your home life. So whether you're moving home, whether you're buying a new home, whether you're upgrading furniture, upgrading appliances, but it's not just a small little ornament kind of thing. This is something bigger. This is something more substantial. So home life atmosphere is one of growth. It's one of new opportunities. It's one of new energies, okay? But I'm feeling like it's furniture, appliances type thing. That's the kind of vibe that I'm getting from it. So home life atmosphere, there's definitely space for new, opportunity for new. Grab it, take it, run with it. I think it would be really positive for you. And now we're going to move on to chances for travel. Everybody wants to travel. I mean, come on. Let's just be honest. Everybody wants to travel. We all want an opportunity to go and explore the world and to experience what life has to offer. Now, for each of you, we have got the King of Swords coming through under the chances of travel. So the King of Swords is, it's not an outright yes. It's not an outright absolutely. King of Swords is saying, hold a second, let's not rush into anything. Let's be very logical in our approach. Let's be very controlled in our approach, but let's also think it through. You know, whenever I see King of Swords, I always think to myself, think it through, okay? Because that's what he does. He does nothing spontaneously. He does nothing without a strategy, a plan, an itinerary, like an itinerary minute by minute type of itinerary. Everything is structured, planned, and controlled. So chances of travel are good as long as you have control, as long as you have a system, a process, a thing that you want to achieve. It's not going to be like, let's just take a drive and see where it gets us. That kind of opportunity is not there for you. Chances of travel are quite good as long as it is planned, coordinated, structured, and controlled. I am going to say to you that looking at your business, right here we had the Queen of Swords and there you've got the King of Swords. So let's connect them up and let's marry them together. So I think the chances of travel are probably business related, if anything. Okay, good, I like that. Next, we have state of your finances. So we looked at the general state of your mind earlier, and now we're going to look at the state of your finances. And you have King of Wands. Now, again, fabulous, absolutely fabulous. King of Wands with regards to finances is saying security, stability, fabulousness. King energy is always very control, very dominant, very leadership, very much at the top, okay? So when we have King of Wands coming through, Wands is our action, it's our doing, it's our career, it's the work that we do. So the state of your finances is actually looking pretty awesome, even if you don't have, like, you know, buckets of money lying around. But you're definitely confident and you're definitely in control of your finances. So your finances are not looking bad, okay? All things into consideration, I think your finances are looking pretty okay, pretty confident, pretty strong, pretty all right, which is why we have home life atmosphere of all this change and why we have opportunity for business and travel, because money, I don't want to say it's no object, but it's certainly not a negative in your life at the moment, which is great. Long may it last. And now we're going to have a look at the events of your next year. So the events of your next year, and we have another queen. But this time we've got the Queen of Cups. So she immediately comes with a different energy. Her energy is very soft, very gentle, very nurturing, very nourishing. She is very emotional, okay? She takes care of everybody. She's the one who will give everybody hugs and make sure that everybody's got a cup of tea and a sandwich, and she'll make sure that everybody's got their bicky and everybody's got what they need. And she's the fusser. She'll fuss over everybody and take care of everybody, but she also does it from a very nurturing point of view. So the events of your next year are going to be you nurturing and taking care of and looking out for family and friends. You're going to be organizing events, organizing functions, organizing get-togethers. You're going to be visiting people and making sure that everybody has what they need, that everybody's taken care of. So it looks like you're going to be very busy and very focused on family and friends for the next year, which, considering we've got all this business travel and all these other things, but bringing people together is actually what makes you shine. Bringing people together is what makes you work, what makes you feel happy and satisfied and fulfilled. So your next year is going to be full of more opportunities like that. And then we're looking at your enemies, because you know what? Life is not just about rainbows and unicorns. Sometimes life is full of nastiness. So let's have a look at your enemies. And the card that we've drawn for you here, I don't know if you can see, there's the Six of Pentacles. Now, this is actually quite an interesting read, okay? Because the Six of Pentacles is the card of helping other people. So Six of Pentacles is saying your enemies look like they are your biggest supporters. Your enemies are the ones who are first to say, hey, how can I help you? Now, I'm going to bring this to our first look at that we had here, which is the general state of your mind. And remember here we had the Hermit card, which is the card of introspection and solitude, the card of withdrawing, almost separating yourself from the crowd and realizing that you don't have support, or you don't need support, or in this particular case, you don't want support. So suddenly everything's making a bit of sense here. So your enemies, the people, and I'm sure you all heard that saying, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. I feel like that's what's happening over here. So your enemies come across as being your biggest allies, your biggest friends, your biggest comrades, okay? And they seem to care about you and they seem to want to help you, but I think you need to be very, very cautious. So those people who seem over helpful, over enthusiastic, and over considerate in your life, just make sure that you're double checking them. Make sure that you're fully aware of their motives, the motives behind them helping you. Why do they feel this urge to step forward and help you? What is their angle here? Okay, what are they playing at? And see if that helps you to identify your enemies. But as I said, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. So now that we've looked at your enemies, let's have a look at your friends. And so your friendships that we have here, and this again, it just makes perfect sense to me. Here we have the Temperance card, and the Temperance card is the card of balance. It's the card of understanding the good and the bad, the up and the down. It's the card of understanding the flow of life. But it's also the card of saying, you know what, we can't always have the quick and easy. Sometimes we have to take the long, slow road. So under your friendships, considering what we've just said about your enemies, this is saying to you that you do have some friends that possibly fall on the border of enemies, but it's about finding that balance. So when it comes to your social engagements and your social interactions and the friendships that you have, don't take everybody at face value. Find that balance, find that link between what they're showing you versus who they truly are. Because remember, there is a very fine line between our enemies and our friends, okay? And sometimes you will have people who will be this end and that end, this end and that end. They will flip between the two. And you will be the only one who will identify where your friends are sitting, okay? And our final one, your profession and your occupation. So we're talking about your work. So whether you're unemployed, full-time employed, self-employed, retired, or still in school, it doesn't matter. Your profession and your occupation is weighing very heavily on you. We have the 10 of Wands here, and the 10 of Wands is about exhaustion. It's about feeling tired, feeling irritated, feeling frustrated, feeling like, when is this all going to end? Okay, it's the card of overwhelm, and it's the card of just everything being a little bit too much. So with regards to your professional occupation, you're obviously throwing your heart and soul into whatever it is that you do. As I said, it doesn't matter if you're retired, if you're full-time employed, self-employed, unemployed, or if you are a scholar. You're throwing yourself into everything that you do. You're putting your heart and soul into it, and you just don't feel as if you're getting the rewards. Now, it's very interesting that that's come through, whereas here, we had so much success around career, so much success around business opportunities. So I think you've got to ask yourself, yes, you are throwing your absolute heart and soul into everything that you're doing, and you're working truly hard, and you're feeling like you're not getting results. You're feeling as if it's not quite achieving what you wanted. Now, I'm going to bring it also into our state of mind, and the state of mind where we had the Hermit card. Basically, this is saying to you, we need to get out of our heads, okay? Because we are doing actually really well, okay? Finances are good, business opportunities are good, but you're just finding like I'm work, and not achieving the things that you wanted to or the things that you hope to. And maybe this is why your general state of mind is one of thoughtfulness and being introspective and going within yourself to identify what's going on, because maybe you're questioning the amount of effort versus the amount of reward. But I'm going to tell you, based on everything that I've read here, that you are probably working too hard. And maybe we need to shift our focus from not being so work focused to being more family focused, which is why we have that. And also possibly a little bit of career focus, travel focus as well. All right. But honestly, especially if we look at this particular tarot card. So here you can see we're carrying all the sticks. We're working so hard. It's the end of the day. We're going home. There's home over there. I know it's really tiny, but there's home over there. We're just about there. So to give up now, to give in now would be packing it in a bit early. And that's when you're going to waste the energy, the effort that you've already put into everything. So, friends, those of you who chose the cute little smiley face flower, I do hope that you've enjoyed your reading. I do hope that this has helped and guided you and that it makes sense. So we've done a little fortune telling as to what's coming up for you in your near future. And I do hope that you enjoy what you've seen, what you've heard, what you've witnessed here. And I do hope that it manifests in exactly the way that you want and that you need in your life right now. Thank you for being with me today. As always, with love and blessings, from my heart to yours. And until we connect again, take care. Hello and welcome to those of you who chose the little green flower. Here is your reading, here is your message, and I hope you're going to enjoy it. I have my casting board on the table here in front of me, and I also have my tarot tiles. So I'm going to shuffle the tarot tiles and I'm going to draw a tile for each point prompt on our circle here, and I'm going to place one tile, one tarot on each, and then once I've done that, we will then get onto your reading. I am going to shuffle quite a bit and place the tarot down. So sometimes my camera stops the noise, it picks it up as background noise and mutes the noise, and sometimes it doesn't. So if you are sound sensitive, just be mindful that it can be quite loud, and if you enjoy the sound, you might want to turn the volume up in hopes that my camera behaves today. Enjoy a little bit of ASMR. I'm also going to try not look at the bowl when I'm drawing, but I will be looking at the sheet just so that I make sure that I put the tiles in the right place. I don't want to place two in one and nothing in another one. So let's get on and lay out your cards, lay out your tiles, and see what the future holds. What does the future have in store for you? So let's get going. Giving them a good shuffle, mixing them around completely, hoping that the cards that need to come out do come out. Okay. Oopsie. Let's see what comes through. Oh, it's upside down. And taking that one. Next one, what's going to be next? It's a bit heavy. I see when I stop talking, it mutes the sound. That way. Do it that way. Grabbing another one. Another one over there. Giving it another shuffle. We're going to draw one for up there. And some more. Let's do again. And our last one. Our last one. There we have all our tarot laid out. There we go. And now let's have a look at your reading. I hope the sound wasn't crazy. Right, so we're starting over here. I have no idea. That's where I'm starting. So, and we're going in a clockwise direction. So you'd think I'd start there for clockwise, but apparently I'm starting here. I don't know why. There's no reason. Just that's how it is. So our first prompt is the general state of your mind, and you've got the Temperance card that has come through for you with regards to the general state of your mind. And basically what that is saying to you is that you're at the moment, you're trying not to obsess too much about one thing, and you're trying not to focus too much on one thing. You're sort of trying to find a balance in what it is that you're thinking, what it is that you're doing, and all the things that are going on in your life. You're sort of looking at all the different areas. So you're looking at your work and your home and your finances and your health and, all of these kind of things and all of these aspects or different parts of your life, and you're trying to find your balance. So you're not sort of only focusing on work or only focusing on one thing. You're sort of trying to bring synergy. Synergy is a word that I'm hearing, to bring synergy into everything that you're doing and everything that's going on around you. So your general state of mind is actually very balanced, which is good. Okay. So if you think you're a bit of a stress mechanic, or if you think you're obsessing or thinking too much about one thing, this is confirmation that whatever it is that you are thinking about, whatever it is that you have going on in your mind is relevant. It needs to be there. You're not overthinking anything at this stage. Everything has a nice balance with regards to the state of your mind. So that's good. Now we're going to have a look at inheritances and death, okay? Now, I know that's like a really depressive, horrible thing to bring into a reading, but it is a fact of life. It is something that happens. And the card that's come through for you here is the Four of Swords, which is actually quite interesting because the Four of Swords is basically saying to you, stop, rest, heal. Okay, so inheritance and deaths, I do think that there is illness. I don't know if this is connected to you. We're going to see when we look at your health, whether it's connected to you or whether it's connected to another person in your life. But there's definitely, over the next couple of months, there is going to be somebody who is going to be in bed, somebody who is going to be unwell. The positive around this particular card in this particular instance is that nobody's dying, okay? This person who becomes unwell, they just need to stop. They just need to slow down. They just need to be aware of their physical body and give the body time to catch up with them. Rest is important. Taking care of themselves is important. So like I said, I don't know if it would be you particularly or if it's just somebody in your family. I am leaning that this is all your life and this is happening around you and not to you. So somebody, there may be illness, there may be disease, there may be something wrong with somebody, and you need to know that they're going to be okay, but they do need to rest. Rest is very, very important, okay? And if it is you, please, when you do find yourself being unwell, take the time out to rest that's necessary and don't push yourself to get up and active sooner than is absolutely necessary. So, because you know what happens is when we are unwell, we do maybe spend a day or two in bed, but then we feel obligated to get up and do stuff. And this is telling you don't. You're not obligated to get up and do anything. Take your time, give yourself the space and the time needed to heal, whether it's you or whether it's somebody in your family. All right. Next, we're going to have a look at, and that's very interesting, marriages and relationships. So if you are married, we're talking about the state of your relationship. If you are in a relationship, we're talking about the state of your relationship. And if you are single, unattached, we're talking about the potential of a relationship and a marriage. And we have the Empress card. So Empress is a feminine energy. She is all about giving birth, giving life to circumstances, giving life to situations, but she nurtures, she takes care of. She's like the eternal mother figure, okay? So what this is basically saying to you is that your current relationship situation, status, let's use that word, your current relationship status needs a little bit of taking care of. Okay, so even if you are in a committed, happy, solid, comfortable relationship, marriage, we still need to work at it. We still need to nurture it. We still need to take care of it. And this Empress card for marriages and relationships is telling you don't neglect the relationship that you're in. If you're single, it's telling you to nurture yourself. It's telling you that new opportunities are coming. New relationships are possible because we can give birth to it, but you have to be ready for it. So don't focus on looking externally for somebody. Focus on looking at yourself and saying, am I ready for somebody? Am I the person I think somebody would be interested in? Okay, so you need to look at yourself from that point of view and say, well, I'm not happy with this. I wouldn't want to be with somebody who has this challenge, that problem, or whatever. So work on yourself, nurture and take care of yourself. If you are single and looking for a relationship, if you are in a marriage or a relationship, do something special for your partner. Like go out of your way to make them feel special. Go out of your way to let them know how much you care about them and how much you love them. Nurture and love the relationship that you have. And if you are single, nurture and love yourself, because there is potential coming your way if you are looking. All right. And if you are single and happy to be single and not looking for a relationship, take yourself out on a date anyway. because you can. All right. So next we have our health outlook. Okay, so let's have a look and see health outlook for you. We have got the Two of Wands. So the Two of Wands is about choices and decisions. It's like, what do I do? Do I stay? Do I go? What is it that I want? What is it that I need? What is it that's important for me? So health outlook is saying that, you know what, right now where you are probably absolutely fine. There is nothing that you need to be aware of, but you always have choice. You always have options. So everything that you do in life is like, should I eat salad or should I eat the ice cream? It's the choices. And this is basically saying to you that you have all of these options and all of these choices. And as far as health outlook goes, if you keep going for the ice cream instead of occasionally having the salad, when you have sugar problems later in life, you can't turn around and say, oh, I don't understand where this came from. Okay. So your health outlook is actually pretty good as long as you make good choices and decisions around taking care of your physical self. And it's interesting because here with marriage and relationships, we've got the nurture, take care of card. So we're not only saying take care of your potential partners or your relationships and marriages, but take care of yourself too. Everything is about choice. And, I'm not saying having ice cream once is going to make you ill, but if you continue to do those kind of things, if you continue to make bad choices around taking care of yourself, your health and well-being, you have to suffer the consequences of that. All right. So consider yourself spoken to. Let's have a look at the next one. So here we've got business enterprises. Now, let me explain to you what I mean when I say business enterprises. You may be full-time employed, happily full-time employed, getting a set salary every month, and everything is pretty okay. So business enterprises might not be relevant to you, but actually it may be, because every single one of us, most of us, have a side hustle. Okay, we all have a little something that we do on the side, and this is the business enterprise that we are referencing. If you are self-employed, we're talking about your business. If you have a little side hustle, that's what we're talking about. If you have a hobby, this is what we're talking about. Okay, anything that you do over and above, if you are full-time employed, anything that you do over and above is your business enterprise. And if you are self-employed, it's that. And the card that we have for you here is just amazing. We've got the 9 of Cups. So the 9 of Cups is a card of gratitude. It's the card of acknowledging your successes, your accomplishments, your achievements, okay? So under business enterprises, this is Spirit sort of reminding you and letting you know, actually don't hide your accomplishments. Speak about it, show it off. Okay, if you've done well, if you've landed a good project, or if you've landed a good contract, or if you've landed something, or if you received a compliment, or if you got good news, share it with the people in your life, whether it be customers, suppliers, family, friends, whatever it is. Don't hide your accomplishments. Put your accomplishments out there for everybody to see. If you are self-employed and you have your own business, put the certificates up on the wall, display the trophies, do all of those kind of things. Put your business reviews up on your website or on your social media. I almost want to say, business enterprises, this is Spirit telling you to brag. Okay, you have bragging rights. And if anybody says to you, why are you bragging? Send them to this video and to this particular green little flower, and they will understand. You have the right to brag. You've got reasons to brag. So don't hold back on what you're doing within your business. If anybody gives you a compliment, let the world know. If you do well, if you succeed at anything, share it with the world, because that is important. All right. Let's have a look and see what's next. Home life atmosphere is the next thing. And here for your home life, we have got the Wheel of Fortune. So the Wheel of Fortune is an interesting card because it basically says that everything's just happening the way that it is. The wheel is turning. We can't speed it up. We can't slow it down. We can't stop it. The wheel is just going to turn, and the wheel is just going to turn, and the wheel is just going to turn. So your home life atmosphere is very simple and uncomplicated, okay? Everything is, you've got a nice flow to everything. There's a nice order to everything, and everything's just moving along quite happily and quite nicely. There's no drama, there's no chaos, there's nothing to be worried about. If you're thinking right now, but I have drama and I have chaos, then that's obviously just your norm, okay? But right now, this is Spirit saying to you, your home life atmosphere is actually what's happening at home right now is exactly what needs to happen, and it's quite okay. There's no real concern around the home life. Everything is just sort of meandering as it should be. Perfectly fine. Next, we have chances for travel. We all like to travel, don't we? Travel is something I don't think there's anybody who doesn't want to travel, doesn't want to go and explore other countries, other places, or whatever. But we've got 1,000 reasons as to why we don't. So what are your chances for travel? We've got the Knight of Wands. And you know what? This is a hell yes for you. This is not just oh yes, there's a chance for travel. This is like, it has to happen. It will happen. It must happen. But I also want to say to you that this is you making it happen. Okay. So the chances for travel for you are very, very strong as long as you are proactive, dynamic, engaging, reactive, all of those kind of words, assertive, etc., in making it happen. Nobody's going to tap you on the shoulder and say, here are plane tickets, here is a passport, here is a visa, off you doodle. This is about you actually making it happen. But I'm also going to say to you that you probably already know this. When we see our Knight of Wands, the Knight of Wands is about momentum and activity and action. And it's about the momentum, activity, and action that's already in motion. So this is what's telling me, is that you already know about travel. You already are traveling, or you already know you've got a date set. There is an event and a situation already determined, okay? And all you've got to do is work towards it. So chances for travel, pretty awesome. Pretty good, pretty strong. Looks like it's going to happen for you, which is great. I'm a little bit jealous because I don't have plans for travel right now. Okay, next we have the state of your finances, because let's be honest, if the state of the finances are not good, we can't travel. So, state of your finances, you've got the Emperor card. I mean, just top notch. Let me just tell you. Emperor is about leadership, about control, about dominance. He's about structure, he's about plans, he's about strategy and all of those kind of things. He's somebody who doesn't need anybody's opinion, doesn't need anybody's kind of validation. He's the Emperor is somebody who makes his own decisions and sticks with it. He never goes back on his word. All right. Once he said a thing, it becomes law, it becomes gospel, it becomes the truth. And he does not ever go back on his word or anything that he said. I am going to tell you with the Emperor, though, that he's so confident and he's so sure of himself and so secure in his abilities, in his abilities to manifest resources, that sometimes he can come off as a little bit cold and a little bit heartless. So the reason why I'm saying that is because coming through in the state of your finances, telling you that your finances are pretty a-okay, but you have to be in control. Don't ever splurge without a planned splurge. So no spontaneous purchases for you, but your finances are fine. As long as everything is budgeted for, as long as everything is planned, I think you'll be absolutely okay. But if you suddenly start spending, the word I want to use is unnecessarily, but I feel like that's not the right word. If you start spending just because, what's another word for just because? If you start spending just because, I think you'll find yourself in financial trouble. But if you are confident and safe and secure around your purchases and around your expenses, I think you're going to be pretty okay. So your state of finances is all right. We don't have too much worry as long as you stay in budget. Okay, so work within a budget, especially when it comes to the travel as well. All right, next we're looking at the events of your next year. So this is going to be a big prediction, because what we've got here is the Eight of Wands. And the Eight of Wands is the card of movement. Movement. Did you get that? Did you get what I was saying? Move. So the events of your next year, there is a move for you within the next year. So this is Spirit saying it's either that you have to get moving and have to get momentum in your life, or it's about an actual relocation, an actual move, a residential move. All right, so you'll have to come back to me, let me know which it is. But for you, events of your next year are about movement and change, and it's big change. But I also feel like it's already in motion, it's already happening. Okay, so even if you right now go, no, but I'm not moving, just mark my words, there's a move. All right, the events of your next year, there's a move. We'll see what that move actually brings out to be. Okay, next we have your enemies. So it's very important in life. Life is not just unicorn and rainbows. Life is about truth. Life is about challenges and problems and situations. So we're going to look at the state of your enemies. And the card we have here is the Six of Wands. And this is fabulous. Six of Wands in a single word is victory. Victory. V for victory. So here you are returning from battle, and everybody behind you has come out to celebrate your success, to celebrate your victory. So Enemies are not really a challenge for you because you are succeeding and you are becoming victorious over your enemies. So whoever is causing trouble in your life, it's really not a problem. Like you're just gonna kill them, you know. And I don't mean that in the literal sense. I mean that you're just going to change them from being enemies to being friends, or to being unimportant and significant in your life. Enemies, not a challenge at all. So now we're going to look at your friendships. And I had to put friendships and enemies right there because sometimes friends become enemies, sometimes enemies become friends, and that's a very, very fine line between the two. So enemies are really not a problem. You're gonna succeed. You're gonna overrule them. You're gonna sort them out. They're not gonna be a challenge in your life. Friendships we have got, and this is very, very interesting. We have got the Six of Pentacles. I'm gonna put them together. Six of Wands, Six of Pentacles. Enemies, friends. Interesting. So what we have with the Six of Pentacles, Six of Pentacles is the card of helping others, of being a support for others, offering your time and your services and your energy to others, okay? It's the card of being friendly, of being kind, of being generous with your time, with your energy, with your efforts. But what it's basically saying to you here with your friendships is that you are giving and giving and giving to your friends all the time. And when I talk about giving, as I said, it could be time, it could be energy, it could be effort, it could be money, it could be whatever, all right? But your friends are taking from you all the time, and you're just having to keep give, but it seems to be a one-way street. So I think you need to pay attention to that and ask yourself, even though you've got plenty to give and you don't mind giving because you're a nice person, but sometimes in life there has to be duality, there has to be balance, there has to be give and take. Relationships, especially friendships, can't just be one-sided. And I think you have quite a few one-sided friendships happening in your life at the moment that needs a little bit of checking in on. So check in on that, make sure that you are that it's all a give and take and that it's equal exchange. And if you can do that, then everything will be fine. And finally, our last one, your profession and your occupation. So we spoke about business over here. Now we're talking about your profession. Remember when we spoke about business enterprises, this was about a little side hustle, or if you are self-employed. This is everything else that you do. So if you are retired, we're talking about your retirement. If you are a scholar and still studying, we're talking about your studying. If you are full-time employed, that's what we're talking about. Self-employed, that's what we're talking about. Unemployed, that's what we're talking about. And the card that we have here for you is the card of the moon. So the moon card is an interesting card because the moon says to you that life goes in cycles, that you have good days and bad days, ups and downs. The moon card also says to you that not everything is as it seems. The moon card says to you that sometimes you may be feeling like you're facing your deepest, darkest fears. The moon card is saying to you that, sometimes we get a little bit emotional, a little bit worked up over the things that are happening around us, and we feel like we're not in control. We feel like things aren't quite the way that we want, need, or require them to be. But the moon card also says to us that sometimes we have to face some hard truths. Okay, sometimes we have to face some hard truths, especially around our business. And I want to bring it back to business enterprises, because from there, if I come to business enterprises, remember we're talking about bragging. So maybe this is telling you that you've just been staying under the radar within your work environment, within your career. You've been sort of slipping under the radar. You haven't really been making a lot of noise and getting a lot of people to look at you. And maybe this is exactly what you should be doing. Maybe it's time that you stood up and let people see you and recognize and acknowledge you for who you are, for what you do and why you do it. And as I said, it doesn't matter what your career is. It doesn't matter what your profession or your occupation is. If you are retired, your occupation is retired. If you are a scholar, your occupation is scholar, study, okay? So this is really saying to you that you're finding everything a little bit overwhelming at the moment, and you're feeling like you're unclear as to what you should be doing and how you should be doing it. But you're sort of just going under the radar. You're not really... People probably don't even see you, probably don't even recognize you, probably don't even acknowledge you, because you just quietly get on and do whatever it is that you need to get on. But I need you to become more vocal. Okay, you need to become more vocal. You need to be more expressive around your own successes, accomplishments, and achievements. Don't just sit quietly and keep it all your successes to yourself. Speak out, speak about it, share it with other people, and let people know what it is that you are all about, because you are fabulous. So, friends, I hope you have enjoyed your fortune telling reading, telling you what's coming up for you in the future. There's a lot going on here. Come back to this again and watch it over and over and over again to absorb all the information that's there. And I hope it pans out exactly the way that you hoped and the way that you need in your life right now. I hope this gives you clarity, guidance, and the inspiration that you need in your life. Thank you for being with me. And as always, with love and blessings from my heart to yours. And until we connect again, take care.